It's time to find out
What Shane
said with Shane Manilla.
Hey, welcome to Shane Says. So I, this week, didn't want to have to come up with something on my own. So what I decided to do is get a Canadian on the team. One of the few Canadians I like. And apparently people like me with him. So it's the dude, Ty Decare from DD Fantasy. Where might the people know you from in case they don't? I'm imagining they're listening to me. They know where you're from, but whatever.
You may recognize me from such Canadian films as Strange Brute. No, I'm kidding. You'd find me on the Trade Show. Yeah, you'd find me on DTI 5, Old Dynasty Trades in 5 once or twice. Or you can find me on X at Ty Decare 44.
All right, let's go. What we're doing today, simple, quick show, right? This is what it was supposed to be. The show's supposed to be like 10, 15 minutes. We're not going to let me be long-winded. You're not going to be long-winded. We're just going to talk about a trade I made. That's it. What's the trade?
I'll pull it up here. So it was, what was it? It was a 10-team or 12-team start 10
bro,
PPR.
Hold on.
5.
First of all, don't accuse me of being in a 10-team.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. As soon as it left my mouth, I was like, wait, that couldn't be. That could not be. So in a 12-team league, start 10, you sent away Kamani Vidal, Puka Nacua, and a 2025 first-round pick and a 2025 second-round pick. You got back Kyren Williams, Rashee Rice, and a 2025 fourth.
So one, completely forgot Kamani Vidal was actually in the deal at all. Completely forgot. That's unfortunate. I hope he doesn't turn out to be the next Austin Eckler / Danny Woodhead. But he wasn't. Did he play this week? Was he one of the many healthy scratches at the running back position for rookies?
Let's see. I mean, for right now, he's quite forgettable in the grand scheme of things.
Either way, I don't think he matters.
Yeah. I don't think he got a single snap.
No. So this is also a big part of this, right? It's a quarter point PPC. So just for people that like to do math, 4 carries equals a point. 8 carries equals 2 points. 12 carries equals 3 points. That's 3 extra.
You'll never
points.
Guess what 16 carries gets you.
Up to 4 points, right?
Wow, yeah.
I know. So I don't even know off the top of my head. I'm going to guess that, what's this guy's name? Kyren Williams hit at least 12 rushing attempts in, I'll go with every game he played last year. Just off the top of my head. I could be wrong. I know Kyren is a guy that I wasn't especially in on. Blake Corum, blah, 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 blah. And then the Rams go, you know what? We're going to give him a 95% snap share in week 1. And it was pretty funny because I was actually just looking at Ronnie Rivers for another league. Like maybe I could throw him in. My man played 5% of the snaps. Blake Corum played a 0. Obviously, that'll change a little bit. And that wasn't the biggest part of the deal, right? But that's what I talked myself into. The first is Kyren Williams. And I've talked about this before, right? In the offseason, I'm like, you couldn't put a gun to my head and make me pay a first for a running back. Once we get into the season, things are different. Things are different. So obviously I lost Puka Nacua along with, 45 other million Americans / Canadians, North Americans, probably some South Americans too.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. I'm guessing they also play fantasy football. Probably Australians. I know they do. So I actually ended up losing week 1 by about 3 points, which puts you on tilt because you go Puka if you would have played another quarter. So I am a big Puka guy. Everyone knows that. But I'd say there's reason to be concerned with the fact that Puka has an extensive college history in college of being injured. Even last year, like, I don't know if people remember, he left the field a few times where it looked like, oh, this dude's dead. Like it was a collarbone thing was the big one. Then we have I'm not a doctor in case anyone's wondering, but we had the knee issue in the preseason, and then dude takes 4 weeks off, comes back, and immediately hurts the same knee. I believe it's the same injury. Again, not a doctor. So things change. Things changed in my mind. Rashee Rice had an excellent target share, route participation, snap share. I probably went backwards on that. Probably should say he had an excellent snap share, route participation, and target share, and targets per route run.
Okay. Yeah. That chronologically, that makes sense. You have to have that to have that to have that. Yeah, I got you.
Right. When you go the other way, it's like, well, yeah, it's anticlimactic.
Oh,
At no point is
can't have
someone
that.
super excited, like, oh, you got 100 snaps, but 3 targets. That was my thinking, right? I'm a competitor, and I do look at this, right? I don't like not having future picks, 25 picks, especially. Well, not especially, but the next coming rookie class. I don't like not having picks. I had 2 firsts in this league, so this felt like, let me sell that first. I'm okay with that. Obviously, originally the deal was me trying to send Puka for Rashee Rice straight up. And that's it. That's how it came about. He countered. I looked at it for about half a second, said, you know what? I did a quick diagnosis in my brain. And that's kind of why I wanted you on too, though. Like, how do you diagnose a trade when it's countered like that, right? So the original trade, it's just Puka Nacua for Rashee Rice. Nice and clean. I need starting production right now. I believe Puka Nacua is down to wide receiver 9. Last I looked, Rashee Rice was like 18 or so. So that was my first initial thought, is like, just let me get the production. Let me get out of this clean. I'm not giving up any other parts. I'm not adding anything else, nothing crazy. So how do you diagnose it, or how do you deal with it when someone comes back with a counter that is, I say, significantly different, right, than what I offered?
Right. And just as a quick update, Puka is now wide receiver 10, and Rashee Rice is now wide receiver 13 on Keep Trade Cut.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, like you're trying something, whether like you've had your motivation to try a deal, or you're just sending out cold offers to everyone, just trying to sell off a certain asset, and you get a counterback that's completely not what you expected. One, you got to be careful, because this is where, like, when I was like an early dynasty manager, I would get bait and switched all the time. And I'd be like, oh yeah, pretty much the same thing, hit accept, but not really looking to the fine details of it. Like, oh, it's close enough, it's different. In a deal like this, so you sent Puka for Rice, and then he sent back what? Was it what was coming back?
The exact deal.
This exact deal, hey?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd pretty much break it down for you, because like I said, you got to know where your team is in relation to the league and what kind of league you're playing in, right? And my analysis in a 10-team start 10, which you'll never find Shane in, and then a 14-team start 13, it's completely different. It's a valuation of everything. And I think the point per carry is going to factor in big with me here, because like you've said, and there's only certain running backs I want to spend a first for. Now that we're in season, especially early season, that's when you're going to be the most liberal with that rule, right? And if I'm going to spend a first for a running back, I might as well get one that fits the format, meaning someone who's going to get me, let's say over 12 carries a game. And if I just lost my first game by 3 points, you best bet I'm trying to find 12 carries somewhere, right? So first and foremost, if I'm sending my first, I got to know where my team is, and I got to project what that first can be, right? And if my team has a bunch of holes, I'm going to be a little less likely to send that first, because I want to have that first to repair the big holes. If my team is set and I'm ready to go, then I can be more frivolous with that first, try and find a difference maker with it. So for your team, like, did you feel like you had any major holes where you felt like better about sending a first away, or where were you? Shane.
But real quick,
sorry.
Let me cut you off. There's another thing, right? I don't have my own first in this league. And I've talked about this before, right? I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that my first, if it does not belong to me, is not attached to me, is as bad as possible. One, because I'm petty. I am a very, very petty human being, and I don't want other people to do well. I hope everyone fails except for me and like the people I like. That's it. Everyone else, I hope they fail. But not our viewers or listeners. Love those guys, women too, especially the women. So I don't have my own first, so I want to spoil that too, right? So just wanted to throw that out there. That's the big part of it, is it wasn't my first. And the first that I'm sending back, I mean, it is probably mid-ish, 106, 105, 107, like that range. Like it could go one way or the other. But yeah, it wasn't my first. it probably, even if it was my first, the same concept would hold because I'm just making my team better. But I just felt like cutting you off, so I did.
Oh yeah, you're fine. No, so I mean, and that's a big thing, right? You're not betting your first, you're betting someone else's first. And yeah, I agree. If I'm sending away my first, that thing is going to be the crustiest first you've ever seen. So yeah, I mean, you're sending away someone else's first. Yeah, a mid pick for Kyren, you have to bet format in that case, right? So a start 10 PPC, you're just betting that Kyren's going to be a difference maker at running back.
Yeah, he had multiple games with 20 carries, which I forgot about. Like those are shoot. Now I'm trying to do math. 20 carries would be 5 points.
Yeah,
right.
Good for you.
And Canadian too. Like I know you guys use different.
You carried the one in Canadian. Yeah, good for you.
75. All right, cool. So yeah, 5 extra points a week there if he hits 20. I don't know that I want him hitting 20 because I would prefer he play more than 12 or 13 games or whatever it is he played last year. Other part of this that I was thinking, it's football stuff. I'm not super smart at football stuff, but I'll try it. Puka Nacua is no longer playing football. Puka Nacua saw a lot of targets, right? Obviously, Kyren Williams is not going to see the exact same type of targets as Puka Nacua, but there will be available targets. So maybe Kyren could see a spike in his target share.
Yeah. I mean, the entire fantasy football community just kind of penciled in Blake Corum into a bunch of work, and he didn't get much of anything. So I think if there was some vacated targets that are going to go, elsewhere from Puka, and it's not going to go to Cup or Kyren, I still think the piece of the pie is just relatively bigger for Kyren at this stage from what they know. So yeah, I mean, I think Kyren's a great bet, especially from after just week 1 and what we know. I think it's a great bet and something that I would be willing to spend a first on the right team.
But I feel like I spent a lot of time on the dessert of this. The big part of this, Rashee Rice, Trinity score, really, really good. If you wanted to dig, put the onions back, how he got there, like we said, or I said, snap share, huge. Routes run, huge. Targets per route run, all huge. I know he didn't have the sexiness of Xavier Worthy, right? But I don't think Xavier Worthy is going to score 2 out of 3 times every time he touches the ball, because that would be a record, I believe.
I would hope so.
Over if you had 100 touches and you scored 2 out of every 3 times, that would be 66 touchdowns, something around that.
I am not doing math, Shane. I don't care. I don't care how you try to bait me into it. I'm not doing math. Stop.
All right, let me bring it back to you on this, right?
Yeah.
So separate player, different player, right? Jameson Williams also super hot right now. Do you think it's more reasonable to send a first-round draft pick trying to acquire Jameson, or would you be more apt to send it for a player like Xavier Worthy? If either.
I would be more apt to send it for Xavier Worthy. I love the bounce back that we've seen from Jamo, and it really wasn't until about this weekend that I remembered that Jamo was the 12th overall pick in the draft, right? And it's funny how that draft capital either seeps in when you're trying to find the positive relation to someone, or it creeps up on you when you're trying to find why you don't like someone, right? But I think X Worthy is, I'll say, in the better offense, but I think that's really debatable between the Lions and the Chiefs. But I just think the way that Xavier Worthy wins, which is he has that pizzazz that can score on any play in the same way that Jamo does. But I think that the way that the Chiefs will use Xavier Worthy will look to in the most technical term I can, it'll look sexier, I think. And I think I can sell that. I think that there's less detractors from Xavier Worthy at this point in his career as well, because Jamo's had stink on him. He's done excellent to shake that stink so far in 2024. But Xavier still has that, I don't know, that new car smell, Shane. He still has that, that mystery box appeal with him.
So what's funny is I'm going to disagree with you. Not just for fun, I promise you. Not just for fun. So I look at, and this is crazy to me because anyone that's watched me on Dynasty Trades in 5 over the last, 2 years, obviously since Jamo's been in the league, knows I absolutely thought the dude's a trash can, and I've called him as such. But it's the way that he got his fantasy points. It's the snap share, the route participation. It's the 27, I believe it was 27% targets per route run. That is the sustainable stuff. right? The big plays, the 50-yard touchdowns, you can't really rely on those. You know what I mean? But you can generally rely on something that's more sustainable, obviously snap shares and route participation. I will say this about Worthy, though, even though for me, I'd actually send a first for Jamo, and I did in one league, getting Jamo and Aaron Rodgers for 25 first. Again, another league where I had literally 5 firsts, and it started 11. So I needed a couple starters because I also have Deshaun Watson at quarterback. Not feeling great about that. Whole other thing. Anyway, the actual point of that was, though, I just feel like Jamo, the way he got there, his fantasy points were more sustainable than the way Worthy's going to get there. But if you look at Worthy's participation, snap share, route participation, all that good stuff, even if the raw targets weren't there, it took Rashee Rice until late in the season to see the type of snap share that Xavier Worthy did. It took Rashee Rice really far into the season for him to see the route participation that he saw. So I will say that is really, really encouraging for Xavier Worthy. But maybe I'm fading him just because everyone went after him so hard, because there's no way he's going to score that many touchdowns. Now he's going to come out this week and score 3 touchdowns on 5 touches.
All right. I hear you. And the Trinity would agree with you, right? Like the way that Jamo won, he did more wide receiver stuff than what Xavier Worthy did. But I mean, I'm a Chiefs fan, right? And it's not easy to come out or to have Andy Reid trust you in an offense, especially on a 2-time Super Bowl winning offense too, right? So to come out week 1 and look like that, I mean, that's what I took away. Like, yeah, he needs to do more. He needs to be more involved. It can't just be he scores a touchdown on every play. But if he's given that opportunity this early on, I think he could definitely grow into that. So I think we're kind of talking about 2 sides of the same coin. And I hope that, X-Worthy's Trinity score will start to trend up towards where we see where Jamo is. And I hope that Jamo can sustain what we're seeing.
So I promised the people a short dose of me, all right? So just a short dose. If you want more, I'll say this, check out Patreon, All Gas. Is that right?
DDFantasyFootball.com. I think the Patreon's still going, patreon.com/allgas. If it's not, it's all on the website.
It's there, or it's on the website. Go to the website, because you get to hear Ty Decare on Mondays, pole position. When else do I get to hear you on there, Ty? Is there another
Saturdays,
show?
the trade show on the YouTube. That's pretty much the only spots for right now.
Right. So you get Ty, you get extra Ty on Monday. If you like me, whatever. You get the drive with me on Monday and Friday, the drive. And you get Manic and Chill with me and Scott on Wednesday. You get Cody's Krusties. I think Ike was on there doing waiver wire stuff, or did I make that up?
Yep. Okay. Through the wire with Ike.
Jeff, bro, I'm going to say this now, and I don't mean to be a corporate shill, even though we're both pimping the hats. Remember, if you do buy anything from the store, please use the promo code Ty and Shane, which will take no money off of it, but whatever. It'd be pretty funny. You just type that in. You just email Ray and be like, the only reason I bought that hot hat was because of Shane and Ty, and maybe Ray will break us off. But no, not to be a corporate shill, but I said this yesterday, bro. We're putting out more good fire content on our Discord to our premium feed than any other sites putting out free content. And our free content is bananas. So I'm just saying that. I promised last time I corporate shill, but I had to, because Jay Rich, very scary dude. I know if you watch him on Wake Up, you wouldn't think that, but no, that dude is scary. He muscled me up and was like, "You need to start selling better." So I don't want Jay Rich coming after me.
No one does.
No, he's scary, right? People think he's all friendly and nice, but nah, Jay Rich is a scary dude. So hit us up.
Never trust a Canadian, Shane. Never trust one.